Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome, all of you that are joining us on Zoom. A few minutes ago, I was talking to people in the temple here, briefly mentioning about the position of the Vajra and bell on your left side. And if you have a Damaru that you're using, that's on your right side. And also the fact that calling attention to the fact that last Wednesday I gave in the Drigung Dhammakirti meeting fairly detailed instructions on the ritual objects and the meanings. There's a lot of meanings, especially with the Vajra and the bell. Every part of the Vajra and bell has a meaning. Of course, realistically, we're not saying that you can memorize all the meanings, but even to be exposed to the meanings of the parts can help, so that when you pick up the Vajra, you pick up the bell, you understand that it's really not about making sounds. It's about like the significance of when you hold the Vajra and the bell. What is it that you're holding in your hands? So please go to the Drigong Dhammakirti YouTube channel. And there is a YouTube channel for Drigong Dhammakirti. Please go to there and look for the playlist. It will be obvious. We have a very good team that is being very disciplined about identifying and organizing into playlists the different sets of teachings that are available. There are many, a lot of material on the Drigong Dhammakirti YouTube channel. The latest one is about these ritual instruments and the symbolism, so that the bell, some people think, oh, mainly it's just to make sounds, The sound is secondary. So then sometimes people think, I'll just bring whatever bell I have, If it's just to make sounds, then it's fine, You bring whatever bell you have, no problem. But it's not, Yeah. So again, the Drigong Dhammakirti YouTube channel, you can go there and watch that. So let us begin with the opening recitation. If you're in the temple, it's this booklet that we have on page 1. If there's anyone on Zoom who has any version of this opening chant, please share it in the chat room so that other people may be able to download and look at it. So because we have a mixed participation today, with many people, in fact, not using English as their primary language, so what we're going to do is we are going to recite these in Tibetan and English. Because I don't know how to read Spanish, so I'm not able to offer that as well. So on page 1, first in English, so one time each for what we are going to repeat. So page 1 and then page 2. We go page 1, we go page 2, and then we go to page 5. 1, 2, and 5. So in English, one time each go. All Mother, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and all-knowingness. May they experience happiness and be separated from suffering. I will quickly establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Bodhi. Thus, until I achieve Buddha, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I engage in virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Page 5. In the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, most excellent, I take refuge until Bodhi is reached by the merit of generosity and other perfections. May I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all wandering beings. May all mothers, sentient beings, limitless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from the bias of attachment and aversion. Now we go back to the beginning, and now this time in Tibetan. Tamche kempe bardu chobar jeba tamche ki so jebe ma namkada nyampe senjen tamche dewa dan den dunya dan nerdu lana me paya dabar sobe janju rinpoche topar jo de sama ge ge bardu lunga yisu ge wala go machi bardu lunga yisu ge wala go du de ne sung te ne ma chang da sam ge bardu lunga yisu ge wala go. Page 5. Sangye chudan soki chonam la chanchu bardu dani kyapsu chi dagi jinso gipe sonangi trola penchir sangye dubrashu Kadanyam pe senchen tamche dewada dewe kindan dempar kirchi dungyao dan dungyao gi gyudan dewa kirchi dungyao me pe dewa dangme dewa kirchi niring chada nidang dewe tangyong lan nepar kirchi. The first two recitations is relative bodhicitta in its two aspects of aspiration and engagement. these two are still what we call vows. We're making a commitment. So even though the second one, right, is called action bodhicitta, to be technical, it's not the actual action. The action is when we engage in the practice of the 6 perfections, the 6 paramitas. Here it's making the commitment. Making the commitment, a commitment to what? A commitment to the result and the commitment to the cause. So the commitment to the result, which is called aspiration bodhicitta, is a commitment to achieving the state of Buddha so that we can lead others to that very same state. So it's a commitment to the result, the fruit of Buddhahood. Action bodhicitta vow is a commitment to the causes for the result. So then it says, I will bind myself to actions that are virtuous, body, speech, and mind actions that are virtuous. Then refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha provides us direction. Kyabdro, kind of safe going, safe direction. That's what refuge provides us. Refuge provides us safe direction in the sense that that is what we want to become. We want to become the objects of refuge. Whereas maybe in other religious spiritual traditions, to want to become the object of worship is a sin. In Buddha Dharma, we look to the Buddha Dharma and Sangha because the Buddha Dharma and Sangha is what we want to achieve, is what we want to arrive at. The 4 immeasurables, immeasurable loving kindness, immeasurable compassion, immeasurable joy, immeasurable without bias, equanimity. These are the very essence of the Buddha state. They are the very essence of the state of Buddhahood. What is a Buddha? A Buddha is these 4 immeasurables. So then understanding that the Buddha is these 4 immeasurables, the embodiment of these 4 immeasurables, then we train ourselves to be Buddha-like. Whenever we can be loving, friendly, we are closer to how Buddhas are. So these are the opening recitations. For the next few Saturdays, we'll be practicing what I call cultivating vitality. Cultivating vitality is at the heart of the Amitayus practice of longevity. The literal meaning of Tsedrup is to accomplish longevity. To accomplish longevity, to accomplish life. But the more accurate meaning, translating beyond words, translating the meaning, is to cultivate and therefore to accomplish vitality. These days, medical technology can keep us alive almost, you could say, indefinitely. But that's not the Amitayus blessings that we are working on. Merely to be alive, but rather to be alive with vitality. So life ends when vitality is completely depleted. Then in terms of this vitality, in our practice, you will see that the most obvious vitality are the vitalities related to what's known as the four elements. And the four elements, from the subtle to the most coarse, is wind, fire, water, and earth. Wind is the property of movement as well as the property of breath. Fire is the property of vitality in the sense of digestive powers, warmth. Water is the quality of suppleness, flexibility, and bringing together, cohesion. And earth is the vitality, the quality of earth is solidity. So these four elements can be in a state of wholeness, completeness, or it can be in a state of disease. Unruly wind element causes mental, emotional restlessness, especially. The other three elements also affect our mental, emotional state. Otherwise, Buddha would not even bother to talk about. At the end of the day, we could say that the Buddha, didn't really, focus on material substance. To the degree that he would focus on material substance is how that material substance impact the mind, the emotions. Because the entirety of the Buddha's teachings can be summarized in one word: the mind or the heart. The mind or the heart. So all four elements have impacts on our mental, emotional state. But it's not one direction. Our mental, emotional state also causes the elements to be in a state of balance or to fall out of balance, to have an excess of or a depletion of. So this Amitayus cultivating vitality is a method to bring back vitality that has been lost, to stabilize vitality that has been brought together, and to even things out so that it doesn't go unruly, or it doesn't go inactive, or it doesn't get deteriorated. And even there's the notion of these vitalities being stolen. So this refers to like malevolent forces. And sometimes not even malevolent. Forces that need to survive on these vitality when they get a chance, and because they need it, they take it from you. All of this has to be understood within the Buddha's basic teachings on karmic causality. So let's say there is a vitality robber coming in now into this temple, and intent on stealing vitality. Whether they will succeed or fail in stealing from you also depends on your karmic circumstance. So you cannot just say, I'm going to cultivate and protect and increase vitality by doing the meditation, doing the practice, and then ignore a karmic cause and effect. Ignore the importance of disciplined conduct. Ignore, the cultivation of generosity and so on and so forth. All of these are part and parcel. All of these are necessary parts and parcel of a complete approach, a complete path to awakening. So often we say Buddhas have taught 84,000 dharmas. One way to understand that is pick any of the dharma and it's sufficient and it's enough. Another way to understand is all these 84,000s are parts and parcels and aspects that constitute the one complete way to awakening. Sometimes we need to take the first understanding, sometimes we need to take the second understanding. The advantage of the second understanding is you don't need to pick and choose anymore. The first understanding works very well when you don't have so much access to so many things, so many teachings. Then thinking, just one, that's good, right? But now we are basically in the, super buffet of spirituality. I often talk about the excitement and the ultimate letdown of super buffets. All you can eat, and you go, how much can I eat? I'm not going to eat dinner tonight. Tomorrow we're going to a super buffet for lunch, Super buffet is only good as an idea right until you arrive. Once you arrive, it's sadness all the way down. Yeah, really, it's sadness all the way. If you practice restraint, you leave feeling like you're not satisfied. If you don't practice restraint, you leave feeling like, you've just beaten up your body with food. So here, if we see the 84,000 as part and parcel, then we don't need to choose, like going to the super buffet. Should I eat this? Should I eat this? Like whatever you eat, you say this is all part of it. Then nothing is wasted. It doesn't mean you should overeat, There are 84,000 dishes here. No, at different points you need different nutrients. So we should bring this all together and practice it as a single path. It's very useful like this. Okay, so before we begin and we go to the actual practice, starting with the short lineage prayer, so let's take a few moments to let body and mind come back together. On Thursday during the Anapanasati series that just started, I talk about how as human beings improve technology, thereby ensuring that we are needing to worry and fear nature less and less, whether in the form of animals looking for food or natural disasters. Technology has afforded us to not have to worry and fear these things. So that's a plus. On the other hand, what that also has done is that our mind and body don't need to be so intimately connected to each other. As a result, mind is all over the place, more so than people during, say, the Buddha's time. So in that sense, we could say this is the meaning of the degenerate age. A term that you find in the Buddhist texts calling this the degenerate age. If you think of this superficially, you go, well, I don't know, is this? In many ways it's not. But in this sense, it's degenerate in the sense of, the mind and the body separation is going further and further and further. Not in a healthy way. Buddha also, teaches a type of mind and body separation, not literally, okay? Meaning don't let the body drag you around. Don't be so tethered to the body insofar as your identity of who you are. So freedom from body in that sense. But not this other separation of body and mind. This other separation of body and mind is one of the mechanism for the loss of vitality. Because the mind needs its energy. So it's going to, in a way, it's stealing vitality from the body. It's not walking in tandem. When it's walking in tandem, then whatever the body is becoming deficient, it will quickly communicate to mind, and mind understanding the needs would come back. Whatever the mind is deficient, it will tell the body, so to say. Yeah? But these two have become separated. Yeah? So now we want to bring these two back together. So let's take a few moments and let body and mind, however you do it, it can be as simple as understanding this unhealthy divide and making that resolve and say, now body and mind, please meet each other and enjoy each other's company. Say hello to each other. And then give rise to a sense of satisfaction and well-being. Satisfaction and well-being in what? In not doing anything except for body and mind to reconcile with each other, and for the body and mind to work together to bring all these vital energies back into this body and mind. If it is helpful, you can have this image of a feeling of warm, nourishing oil being poured to the top of your head, and it flows down into your whole body, slowly sweeping and covering your entire body. This healing, warm oil, milk, and experience a sense of well-being and being at ease and relaxed. This oil can enter you from the top of your head, through the pores on your skin, and therefore even covering the insides, coating outside, inside. With well-being, warmth, and goodness. If you are in a place where the temperature is hot, then this oil is cooling. If right now you're in a place where the temperature is cold, then imagine that it's warm. You can adjust accordingly. Breathe in slowly and deliberately. Breathe out slowly and deliberately. Now, starting on page 1, the short lineage prayer. As we begin that, now you can raise the Vajra and bell. Jin la kundu sa ju lama dang zhe chou su chum den se yi la mi tun chum ze kan ru chu kyung la se ji dong wei yi ki so dem na tu che da so ka kya lu chen kun chi me gong pa sa la go gyu chu. To you, root and lineage, Guru's embodiment of all blessings, you, Bhagavan, deity of life, bestows the supreme siddhi, Yudaginis and Dharmapalas who destroy discordant conditions. I supplicate with single-pointed longing through your compassion. May embodied beings pervading all of space be raised to the deathless state. The relative deathlessness is the longevity of life. The ultimate deathlessness is to realize the deathless nature of mind. So Amitayus is to be practiced for both of these. These then is related to ultimate bodhicitta and relative bodhicitta. The relative longevity and stability and vitality of life as it pertains to this body and mind, these five aggregates, as training in relative bodhicitta, then we say, may this life, may this stable, healthy, strong life become a basis for benefiting beings. The supreme siddhi of Amitayus is the realization, the complete realization of the deathless nature of mind. And that is the training in ultimate bodhicitta. And only with that, then relative bodhicitta becomes bodhicitta. Otherwise, even relative bodhicitta can degenerate into something else without ultimate bodhicitta informing or sort of providing the view. So this lineage prayer, we're praying to the lineage of all those who have gone before us, who have practiced this for achieving the two bodhicittas in terms of this principle of vitality, of longevity. Can bring the bumpa. Om Bhadra Saparanakam Om Sarva Vidya Pura Sura Avataya Om Ransepa Medu Silve Tuke Sabongi Oki Chuchu Gyawa Kurche Tsepa Meki Nambar Dungi Namka Chendra. You appear as Amitayus, lights radiating from the seed syllable at the heart, inviting the victorious ones of the 10 directions, retinue all in the form of Amitayus to the space in front. Bhadra Samhaja Pema Asana Tishta Satam Nama Sarva Tathagata Saparivara Bandhanam Karomi. That's mantra. There is the mantra for making prostrations to the refuge field that we have invoked into the space in front of us. You can make the refuge field very complex, or you could just imagine the three refuges, the three roots, all contained in the single form of Amitayus. Then, of course, if you're able to see one Amitayus, it's not so hard to see countless Amitayus surrounding the main Amitayus. Kunju sumla dakya chi deba mege sosor sha drowe gela jira Sangye chanchu yiki sun Sangye chodan so chola Bardu dhakyab chi Rangshen dhuni raptu chir Chanchu semni ke pargi Chanchu chogi semni ke gine Semchen tamche dagi chundu nir Chanchu chocho iwon che bargi Drola penchir sangye duprasho. To the three jewels I go for refuge, I confess each misdeed and non-virtue, and rejoice in the virtue of wandering beings. I will also be mindful of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. I go for refuge until awakening is reached to fully accomplish the benefit of both self and other. I generate the awakening mind, having generated supreme awakened mind. I will serve all sentient beings and delightfully engage in the supreme deeds of the Bodhisattvas for the benefit of wandering beings. May I accomplish Buddhahood. Om Bhadra Argam Ahom Om Bhadra Padyam Ahom Om Bhadra Pushpe Ahom Om Bhadra Dupe Ahom Om Bhadra Aloke Ahom Om Bhadra Gende Ahom Om Bhadra Nividhe Ahom Om Bhadra Shabda Ahom. Oba oba tamche la shindu kungi janegi lutu beni namkuntu choktu depe topargi Om to all of you worthy of praise I continuously bow bodies countless as stars, particles with supreme faith, praise you. So she nam ran la timpar you, the assembly field dissolves into you. Again, all these Amitayus now, the objects of refuge, dissolve into you. Then go back to our initial meditation of body and mind, being content and happy and at ease with each other. And therefore, agreeing to cooperate, so to say, to bring back all the vital energies that have been lost through negative actions of body, speech, and mind, bringing back and restoring lost vitalities through body and mind working at odds with each other, through the mind exceeding the body. Feel the blessings of Amitayus, boundless life that is the nature of our being, the nature of our mind, and boundless life for the benefit of others. The two bodhicittas, inseparable and complete. Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Dharma Swabhava Shuddhoham Dashender Zengi Topang Upor Zimba Tamche Tongpa Nidur Gyur De Ngang Le Naso Pema Da We Den Dan Torma Ige Re Marpo Rin Cha Tse Tadan Che Vale Otro Doni Jesur Du Ri La Te De Yong Su Gyur Pa Le Gompo Tse Pa Me Kundo Marpo Nang La Rang Shi Me Pa Tsimpe Genpa Xiao Ji Ja Ni Pa. In the English, somewhere in the middle of there, it says the torma appears. We will replace it with the torma and yourself. Add and yourself. So the torma is this longevity torma that if you have, you place it on your shrine while doing this practice. I place it this way so that everybody can see. But if you're doing this practice at home, you place this, on the shrine, facing you. If you don't have, most people don't, a picture of Amitayus or a picture of this torma, this kind of longevity torma, you can place on the shrine. Torma originally is food. Food turned into a support for containing the divine principle, the enlightened principle. So it's a very basic ritual object. This really harkens back to a time where the practitioners, the Mahasiddhas, who didn't necessarily live in a settled place with a cabinet full of ritual items, they wandered from place to place. But wherever you wander, you always need food, And once you have food, you have a tangible object, you can turn that into like the focus. So then, if you want to take that principle, when you practice this and you don't have this dharma, you put a fruit, like a pear. A pear also has a certain shape that kind of resembles this, And then you have a little picture of Amitayu. You stick it on the food. And that's the dharma. What that represents is the actuality of the Amitayu state and yourself as the work in progress Amitayu state. And so both dharma and yourself are Amitayus. So the actuality of the deathless state in the form of the dharma, in essence your guru, your guide, then your potentiality or your work in progress, Amitayu, you. So here we say the dharma and yourself appear as a red hari and then continuing from there. So whenever in our text we say the dharma, you add and yourself. The conceptualities of grasping itself and other, holding things as real, all this becomes emptiness within this state on a multicolored lotus and moon seed, the dharma and yourself appear as a red free radiating lights, conditioned to benefits. The lights return to the tree which transforms into protector. Amitayus red in complexion, appearing yet without inherent existence. He has all the major and minor marks and has one face and two arms. Utra Rilpe Chupen Chin Rinpoche Naso Pe Ugyen Nyen Gen Gu Gen Do Shel Cha Du Jam Du La Soba O Trove Ze Pa Darna Tsoki Toyo Dame Yo Chen Chiani Nyam Shagi Tena Chime Tse Du Tsi Gangwe Bumpa Kagyen Gu Chin Ki Trepa Nampa. He has long hair and wears a crown of various jewels, earrings, short and long, necklaces, bracelets, anklets, and so forth, radiant and handsome. He wears multicolored silks for upper and lower garments. His two hands are in the gesture of meditative equipoise, supporting a vase with a sprinkler and silk ribbons tied around the neck of the vase, filled with the elixir of deathlessness. Shab Turje Gil Motung Gizube Trewa Om Jimba Atukar Hongi Sempale Otrobe Kumbanda Drawe Yesheba Chendran. His legs are in position at the head center is home, in the throat is an ah, and in the heart is a home which lights radiate, inviting the jnana sattvas to appear in the form identical to the visualized form. Otrope Wangila Ringa Chendram Jaho Bam Ho De dissolve inseparably. Then from the seed syllable in the heart, lights radiate, inviting the empowerment deities of the five Now, the empowerment deities are the Buddhas of the five families. These are the primordially established five wisdoms, meaning they have always been there. That's the meaning of primordially established. And so now we have invoked them in the language of inviting into the space in front. So now we make offerings to them in order to request them to dissolve into us, and that's the empowerment that we're receiving from them. Om Pancha Kula Sabari Vara Argyam Padyam Pushpe Dupe aloke gende nevede shabda prateja Om Sarva Tathagata Abhisinchatu Mam She Sova Tape Wangile Om Sarva Tathagata Abhishekata Samaye She Bumbechu Wangkur ku gang rima da chu lama le opa me ki u gen wang la nam rang ni la timpar gyuru. The supplicate the empowerment deities with Om Sarva Tathagata Abhishinchatu Mam with Om Sarva Tathagata Abhishekata Samaye bestow empowerment with the water from the vase, purifying the body of stains. The overflowing water turns into Amitabha, ornamenting the crown. The empowerment deities dissolve into you. Now fully both the potential to be Amitayus and the actuality of Amitayus, which is boundless life, the boundless, deathless nature of mind, and the nature of benefiting all beings with no limit and no end, these two aspects of the relative and the ultimate is complete within you as Amitayus. The empty nature is the ultimate bodhicitta, the appearing nature, appearing in the form of Amitayus for the sake of others, is relative bodhicitta. The essence of your being is the wisdom aspect. The appearance of your being now is the compassion aspect, thereby awakening, consisting of the twofold perfection of wisdom and compassion. Now all the Buddhas of the 10 directions, the Bodhisattvas and all the sublime beings and the gods and demons and all beings make offerings to Amitayus, which is yourself and all beings. And you as Amitayus also make offerings to others as Amitayus. Om Sarva Tathagata Ayudhyana Saparivara Argyam Prateja Soha. Om Sarva Tathagata Ayudhyana Saparivara Padyam Prateja Soha Om Sarva Tathagata Ayujnana Saparivara Pushpe Prateja Soha Om Sarva Tathagata Ayudhyana Saparivara Dupe Prateja Soha Om Sarva Tathagata Saparivara Aloke Prateja Soha Om Sarva Tathagata Saparjnana Saparivara Gende Prateja Soha Om Sarva Tathagata Ayujnana Saparivara Nivede Prateja Soha Om Sarva Tathagata Ayujnana Saparivara Shabda Prateja Jikten Dembe Chobo Tsepa Me Dumin Jiwa Malu Jomze Pe Gumme Dunya Gyurpa Namki Kya Sangye Tsepa Me La Chase Amitayus, chief guide of this world, destroyer of untimely death without exception, refuge for protectorless suffering beings, I pay homage to you, boundless light. Usuri gitar ngaki korwale otro dowe donje sangye changsem namki jinlam dune ngatreng sabonda chepala timpar guru. In the heart, in the center of a moon is a three-syllable surrounded by the mantra, radiating lights that benefit wandering beings and gathering the blessings of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They dissolve into the mantra garland and seed syllable. Again, the emptiness aspect of your mind is the ultimate bodhicitta. And the appearing aspect of your mind as Amitayus is relative bodhicitta. Actualizing these two bodhicittas, to actualize these two bodhicitta is a summary of what the path or the process of awakening consists of. The way of secret mantra is said to be the way that takes the result and turn it into the path. So now taking the result of achieving Amitayus in its ultimate and relative states, we turn that into a path whereby now appearing in the form of Amitayus clearly, radiantly for the benefit of all beings, and yet, although clearly appearing, it appears because of its nature being empty, without fixity, without limit. Sustain this recognition. Steady this recognition. Now, if we are practicing this Amitayus and have someone in mind in particular that we want to dedicate the practice to, especially those of you from the Casa Tibet network at the various centers or in your individual homes, in particular, you dedicate this practice to Lama Tony, then you have to visualize him in the form of Amitayus as well. And if we don't have anyone specific, then in general we should also visualize all beings as having transformed and now appears in the form of Amitayus. Go back to that visualization, that experience in the beginning of all the vital energies being restored. And experience a sense of well-being covering us inside, outside. Like the dripping of this nourishing oil. Covering and enveloping us with wellness, well-being, and vitality. This vitality in particular is expressed with the color of ruby red. Radiant ruby red. This is the color of life, color of blood, the color of life. Radiant ruby red, glowing. This glow is the glow of compassion. This compassion originates in the wisdom mind of Amitayus. If you want to incorporate breath as you breathe in the vital energies of the 5 elements. breathe out the blessings of Amitayus, so that your out-breath becomes a blessing for all beings. When the mantra recitation starts, do not feel that you have to start as well. You start the mantra whenever you feel that you are ready. Otherwise, just experience this breathing in of all the vital energies, all these vital energies of the elements going to where it's deficient within your body and mind. Know that the elements are not just the coarse elements, but the subtle elements that your mind also need for movement to be healthy, the movement of the mind to be healthy rather than erratic, for the liveliness of the mind to be warm, to be able to process and nourish, so to say, like fire, burning the calories to give energy. The mind also needs this vital essence of water, of cohesion, of flexibility. And finally, the mind needs the element of earth for its stability. Om Namo Bhagavate Aparimitayu Jnana Sumvinishchita Tejo Rajaya Tathagataya Arahate Samya Sambuddhaya Teyata Om Punye Punye Maha Punye Aparimita Punye Aparimita Punya Jnana Sambharo Pachite Om Sarva Samskara Parishuddhe Dharmate Gagana Samugate Swabhava Vishuddhe Mahanaya Parivare Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Aparimita Ayunyana Sumvinishchita Tejo Rajaya Tathagataya Arahate Samya Sambuddhaya Yata Om Punye Punye Maha Punye Aparimita Punya Jnana Sambharo Pachite Om Sarva Sanskara Parishuddhe Dharmate Gagana Samungate Swabhava Vishuddhe Mahanaya Parivare Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Aparimita Jnana Sumvinishchita Tejo Rajaya Tathagataya Arahate Samya Sambuddhaya Teyata Om Punye Punye Maha Punye aparimita punye aparimita punya sana sambaro pachite sarva sanskara parishuddhe dharmate gagana swabhavate swabhava shuddhe mahanaya parivare soha Om Namo Bhagavate Aparimita Ayunyana Sumvinishchita Tejorajaya Tatha Gathaya Arahate Samnya Sambuddhaya Teyata Om Punye Punye Maha Punye Aparimita Punye Aparimita Punya Jnana Sambaro Bhajite Om Sarva Samskara Parishuddhe Dharmate Gagana Samungate Swabhava Vishuddhe Mahanaya Parivare Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Aparimita Ayunyana Sumvinishchita Tejorajaya Tatha Gathaya Arahate Samnya Sambuddhaya Teyata Om Punye Punye Maha Punye Aparimita Punye Punya Jnana Sambaro Bhajite Om Sarva Sanskara Parishuddhe Dharmate Gagana Samungate Vishuddhe Mahanaya Parivare Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Aparimita Yunyana Sumvinishchita Tejorajaya Tatha Gathaya Arahate Samnya Sambuddhaya Teyata Punye Punye Maha Punye Aparimita Punye Aparimita Punya Jnana Sambaro Bhajite Om Sarva Sanskara Parishuddhe Dharmate Gagana Samungate Swabhava Vishuddhe Mahanaya Parivare Soha Om Namo Bhagavate Aparimita Yunyana Sumvinishchita Tejorajaya Tatha Gathaya Arahate Samnya Sambuddhaya Teyata Om Punye Punye Maha Punye Aparimita Punye Aparimita Punya Jnana Sambaro Bhajite Om Sarva Sanskara Parishuddhe Dharmate Gagana Samungate Swabhava Vishuddhe Mahanaya Parivare Soha. We can then recite the heart essence mantra. Again, you begin that at your own pace. You can recite out loud, you can recite silently, you can recite mentally. and switching back and forth to keep it fresh, to keep it energetic. Amarane Jevante Soha, 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 Amarane Jevante Soha. Amarane Jevante Soha, 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 Amarane Jevante Soha. Amarane Jevante Soha, 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 Amarane Jevante Soha. Amarane Jevante Soha, 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 Amarane Jevante Soha. Amarane Jevante Soha, 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 Amarane Jevante Soha. Amarane Jevante Soha, 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 Amarane Jevante Soha. Amarane Jevante Soha, 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 Amarane Jevante Soha. Jevante Soha, Om Amarane Jevante Soha, Om Amarane Jevante Soha, Amarane Jevante Soha, Om Amarane Jevante Soha, Om Amarane Jevante Soha, Om Amarane Jevante Soha, Om Amarane Jevante Soha. Amarane Jevante Soha, Om 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 Amarane Jevante Soha. Om Amarani Jivante Soha 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 Jivante Soha Om Amarani 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 Jivante Soha Om Marani Jivante Soha, 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 Om Marani Jivante Soha. Amarani Jivante Soha, Om 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 Amarani Jivante Soha. Amarani Jivante Soha, Om 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 Amarani Jivante Soha. Amarani Jivante Soha, Om 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 Amarani Jivante Soha, Amarani Jivante Soha, Om Amarani Jivante Soha. Amarani Jivante Soha, Om 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 Amarani Jivante Soha. Amarani Jivante Soha, Om 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 Amarani Jivante Soha. Amarani Jivante Soha, Om Amarani Jivante Soha, Om Amarani Jivante Soha, Om Amarani Jivante Soha, Amarani Jivante Soha, Om Amarani Jivante Soha, Om Amarani Jivante Soha, Om Amarani Jivante Soha. Amarani Jivante Soha, Om 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 Amarani Jivante Soha. Om Amarani Jivante Soha. Om Bhadra Sattva Samaya Manobalaya Bhadra Sattva Denoba Devta Now summoning the vital life forces. Rangi tsepa me sewe tuke sabon le gyawa ringa tsepum dan da da clearly visualizing yourself as Amitayus. From the seed syllable in your heart centers radiates limitless victors of 5 families holding races and longevity arrows. Shatra to number shibe kamne tse doriyar nyam yuge kyam ryoji jingun geki kucho pa tamje dan sachu melon namke judan sanje changsen lamai idam kanro chokyam tamje ki jin lamda sela wangwa tamje ki serik zen rowa ridru ki tse so penjur soglu wanglung ki to tamje kyune seze nam la tim. The life forces from the essences of your own flesh, blood, heat, breath, consciousness, elements that have been scattered, weakened, lost, damaged, entered, or collapsed, or which has been stolen or robbed by evil spirits and obstructors, together with earth, water, fire, air, and space, and the blessings of all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Gurus, Idams, Dakinis, Dharmapalas, and the Vidyadharas, power over life, the powers of the lifespan, merit, splendor, life force, health, potency, luck of sentient beings of the 6 realms. All these are summoned and dissolve into the longevity substances. So here with this text, right, see how in the Tibetan, in the first verse, after the 4 lines, you have Om Ratna Ayushe Om Za. When we do the recitation in English, we should also repeat that mantra. When I put this text together, I was in a hurry. Then I missed that. So just bring on page 16, for example, in the first Tibetan section, at the end you have Om Ratna Ayushe Hong Ja. So that Om Ratna Ayushe Hong Ja should be tagged underneath summon lifespan from the earth element. Om Ratna Ayushe Hong Ja. So then this earth element is associated with the Ratna family. And next, water element is the Akshobhya family. And so it's going from the most dense, the most solid, to the most subtle. Starting with earth, then it goes to water, then it goes to fire, then it goes to wind, then it goes to space. So it's not following the usual movement of the directions, which is often east, then south, then west, then north. Instead, it's following the principles of the 5 elements, from the most solid to the most subtle. On page 16 now. Onda ni neo jo wan chu gi sha yi kam ne se nyam na chung de rin jo nyab yun ki sa yi kam ne se ku chi om rana ay Through the element of flesh, the lifespan of me, a Lord of yogis has decreased. Bhagavan Ratna Sambhava, male and female, summon lifespan from the earth element. Om Ratna Tragi kamne senyamna chumde mikyo yap yungi chuyi kamne sekuji om badra through the element of blood, the lifespan of me, a Lord of the yogis, has decreased. Bhagavan Akshobhya, male and female, summon lifespan from the water element. Om Bhadra kamne senyamna chumden pagne yap yungi mei kamne sekyuji om through the element of heat, the lifespan of me, a Lord of yogis, has decreased. Bhagavan Amitabha, male and female, summon lifespan from the fire element. Om Dhani Neljo Nangchugi Uki Kamne Senyamna Chumden Dondu Yam Yungi Lungi Kamne Sekyuchi Om Karma Ayushe Om through the element of breath, the lifespan of me, Lord of the yogis, has decreased. Bhagavan Amoga Siddhi, male and female, summon lifespan from the wind element. Om Karma Om Nani Neljo Wang Chugi Nam She Kamne Senyamna Chumden Nam Nang Yap Yungi Nam Ke Kamne Sekyuchi Om Buddha Ayushe through the element of consciousness, the lifespan of me, a Lord of yogis, has decreased. Bhagavan Vairocana, male and female, summon lifespan from space element. So now, kind of turn these ribbons around so that it's all wrapped around the central bamboo and holding it down like this, all together. Om Gyalden Seme Durje La Nam Nang Kanru Kuyi Gya Pame Pema Sungi Gya Mikyo Durje Tuki Gya Rinjong Rinchen Yonten Gya Dondru kya dam tin le kya mi gyur mi nam yedam. On this fortunate deathless Vajra, my Rochana's will seals exalted body. Amitabha's lotus seals exalted speech. Akshobhya Vajra seals exalted mind. Ratnasambhava's jewel seals exalted qualities. Amogha Siddhi's cross Vajra seals exalted activities. Sealing in the unchanging and undefined. So you visualize Vairochana seal put on your crown center. Amitabha's lotus put on your throat center. Akshobhya's Vajra put on your heart center. Ratnasambhava's jewel put on your navel center. And then Amogha Siddhi's cross Vajra put onto your secret center. And in this way, as it says, sealing in the unchanging and the undefiled. And we do this sealing while reciting this next mantra. So you just imagine this cross like going, sealing like this, being placed in the 5 places. And more importantly, when it's being placed in the 5 places, the wheel is sealed in all the vitality in the crown. The lotus seals in all the vitality in the throat. And then the Vajra seals in the vitality in the heart. And then the double Vajra, or the jewel rather, seals in the navel. And then the double Vajra seals in the secret center. Om Buddha Raja Rana Bema Karma Mudra Supratishta Raksha. Semi Shiva Durje Taburgir Jino Bhagya Sentaburgir Nigyu Wayundrun Taburgir Shime Durje Kuchok Tobarsho Lifespan be indestructible like a Vajra. Lower like the victory band. May it be unchanging like the universe. Supreme deathless Vajra, exalted body be Now turn to page 26. At the conclusion, we make these Thanksgiving offering. Om Ayunyana Saparivara Argyam Padyam Pushpe Dhruve Aloke Gende Nivide Shabda Yiten rembe sowo tsepa me dumin jiwa malu jamsepe Gome dumya gyurpa namki kya sangye tsepa me la chase Chief guide of this world, destroyer of untimely death, without exception, refuge for protectorless suffering beings, I pay homage to boundless Ajur Yongsu Mani Dan Damon Loyi Gangi Chela nombar gyupada gongkyo de kunzo parzo for meager incomplete offerings for mistakes made through my ignorance or for adding or omitting things. Protector, please forgive these mistakes. Om Vajra Amitayus, protector, by the virtue of this recitation and practice, may I and all wandering beings attain the supreme Vidyadhara level. Mindro dambe choso wa sagye lame choso wa chime gombo barche silzepa damchen kyaso the auspiciousness of the rude and lineage gurus who grant the supreme instructions of ripening and liberating auspiciousness of Amitayus, who grants supreme attainments of the supreme and ordinary. The auspiciousness of the ocean of Samaya holders, who dispel adversities and obstacles. Now, just as we started at the end, take a few moments to let body and mind just settle. If you still have the visualization of yourself and others as Amitayus, now you can just simply let that go. Neither holding it nor not holding it. Just leave it as it is. Leaving it as it is to recognize that primordially, from time without beginning, it has always been in this way. The mind as it is, empty and yet appearing, or radiant and yet empty. No arising, no abiding, no ceasing. For these three depend on each other. And seeing their interdependent nature is realizing their empty nature. So when we say no arising, no abiding, no ceasing, we are not literally saying no. We're pointing to the emptiness nature, the dependent origination that is emptiness free from the extremes of elaboration, and the dependent origination that is cause and effect, that appears, that manifests. They're completely in the state of union. This unity has never been separated in the first place. Changchu sem chorim poche ma ge ba nam ge gyurji ge ba nyam ba me ba ya go ne Thank you to everyone that joined today in the temple. We have a good group here. And also I see there's many of you out there from different places and the different centers. For many of you from the different Kasa Tibet Center, this practice has a special significance for all of you this year, which is to help dispel the obstacles and the practice on behalf of your Lama. Keep that in mind as we do this practice. Then for us here, and for my reasons for organizing these 4 weekends leading up to the final weekend, where here at the temple we'll have the Amitayus Longevity Empowerment. It is part of what His Holiness has entrusted me, has entrusted all of us, those who are inspired to, maybe not immediately, maybe later, maybe in the long term, to practice this one particular cycle of practices called the Ladrup Devedoji, which is accomplishing the Guru, the blissful Vajra cycle of teachings. The cycle historically has been held in very, very restricted and very secret, that they were not given beyond the head lamas like private quarters. But the irony of that is that today it's at the risk of disappearing. So His Holiness in particular, he said, you need to Because I was talking to him about the situation and asking him where within our lineage, like in Tibet, in Nepal, and Bhutan, who is practicing this cycle. And then when we started to look into it, he said, I think it's barely being practiced. The empowerment still exists, but the practice is in a focused way. He says, I'm not sure who is doing it these days. Turns out one of our really important Lama that passed away in 2017, that was his heart practice. And then one of his successors said, when I was talking to this other Khenpo, I said, how come I've never heard of Rinpoche giving this practice? He said, well, nobody asked. Yikes. And he has passed. I said, who got the good stuff, regarding this practice? He said, I don't know. I said, I know he has given it in Tibet. And there's one monastery in Tibet that historically are the holders of this cycle. And he said, this Khenpo said, I know the people traveled from central Tibet to eastern Tibet to receive the transmissions, the empowerment, the instructions from Rinpoche, and we assume they are continuing, right? So in particular, like, we don't know who has the unbroken tradition, unbroken lineage of the Tsalong practices, the yogas of Naropa style practices associated with this Ladru Tevedoji. So our translator that was here, Eric, he plans this summer. He's already planning to go to Eastern Tibet. So this summer he is planning to go ask around, and His Holiness told Eric in particular 2 lamas to seek out and ask them, do you know anyone? Do you have the unbroken continuity of this practice, this set of yogic exercises? Before we get so excited with yogic exercises, they are very rigorous and demanding physically. I already gave up hope on that. But nonetheless, if we can bring it to the West, the set of it's good. And then again, before you get too excited, yogic exercises. This really shows, how materialist based, our culture is. We think, yogic exercise, Really, these yogic exercises do not fulfill their purpose if it is not done within the context of deity practice, of deity yoga. So until yourself as deity becomes stabilized, steadied, merely engaging in the physical yogas can bring some health benefits. But pursuing those yogic exercises in a serious way could also cause your aggregates to go haywire. Yes. It was just this morning I was reading this one teaching by Kyoba Jigten Sumgun where he talked in some of the kind of advanced details. He says that at a certain point in your practice, your 5 aggregates will get upside down. Yeah? There is the 5 aggregates getting upside down because of samsaric reasons, which is what we all suffer now. Then we build up this vitality to start, like, quote-unquote, sustained serious practice. Then at a certain point of that sustained serious practice, again, our 5 aggregates would get disturbed. Why? Because, right, the first time of the 5 aggregates being all over the place is caused by samsaric, right, under the power of the 3 poisons. The second upsetting of the 5 aggregates, so that's why some highly serious lamas, practicing or practitioners, have bad health. That second type of bad health is because what's tying together the five aggregates? Samsaric karma. So as samsaric karma is being worked out, then the five aggregates also go. And in part, right, these yogic exercises is to provoke that. So if you do these yogic exercises without the stability of deity, a part of the stability of your identity as deity is not to be so tethered to this body and mind. So that even when this body and mind begins to unravel as a result of things going well, not going bad, to unravel because you have the identity of deity steady, you can almost like just be like, it's like you're watching it going on and you're not so affected. You're like, yep, that's going on. It's going to get crazier. But you are standing from the side as deity, so to say. Then it doesn't cause problems. You can even watch body and mind getting disturbed, but there is a higher view, so to say. Like today we practice, we say this higher view of the deathless nature of mind. Right now, it's just a rumor. And you can't rely on rumor when you want to do the hard work. So you have to stabilize this rumor. Better yet, realize this rumor. Realization can be so many different levels. The initial recognition through the introduction to mind, the nature of mind. If you have that, then you need to steady that. You need to stabilize that. And in Vajrayana, you stabilize that, not in an abstract way, but in the cultivating of the identity of the appearance of the deity. I believe, yes, Zen people maybe also recognize this nature of mind. But they don't use the appearance of deity. They don't have that technique. I'm not criticizing it. I'm just showing you where things may connect. And depending on your karma and your kind of inclinations, practicing one may be more suitable than another. Ultimately, it's to dispel the mental afflictions, the mental defilements on the one hand, and to benefit beings on the other hand. Right? That's most important. Right? Techniques. That's all negotiable. Right? But if you're going to follow this set, then you cannot pick and choose in that way. Ultimately, you do pick and choose. There is skillful picking and choosing. And then there is random, unskillful picking and choosing simply based on what you like. And what you cannot stand. It's imagine the doctor writes you a prescription and then you take a look and you go, I don't know, that's kind of bitter. I don't want that. I'll take this and this. Also, I heard it's also good. Can I also take that? Well, what to say? It's democratic. Do whatever you want. So to say, ultimately it is. Do whatever you want. Pick and choose wisely, with skill, because ultimately you are responsible for your own process. So in that sense, yes, you pick and choose. We never say you have to accept all of this with blind faith. But the alternative of, or the extreme of anything goes, I'm going to make it up myself. Of course, sure, go ahead. But when you run into problems, very few people can help because they don't know what you just mixed together. what kind of cocktail you have concocted, for your own medicine becomes a little risky. So in this, not just the Ladrup Devedoje, in general, in the Tibetan tradition that utilizes both, for just to put into context, Zen-like, right, teachings about just openness, spaciousness, mind, nature of mind, Dzogchen, Mahamudra, the language, they never practice divorce independent of deity yoga. And deity yoga is at the heart of Vajrayana. So here instead, here, these are not two separate things that are put together. But the deity side is the appearance side, the relative side. The nature of mind side is the ultimate side. There is no ultimate without the relative. Likewise, there is no relative without the ultimate. So at various points in the path, one is prioritized over the other, but not without a recognition that they are ultimately to be experienced as inseparable. Even in one sadhana over time, or over a week, you yourself may emphasize one aspect over the other. And that's the taking your own process seriously, and not being dogmatic. Oh, the teacher says so. Yes. But you need to attend to your own process. And see what is needed, what is most needed. So anyway, hopefully some of these words are useful. And then we gather again next Saturday for this practice. Okay, bye-bye. Now wave at that computer there.